Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, how despite a government campaign, Japanese women are still facing extraordinary discrimination if they attempt to return to work after having children. Also, the female chief in Malawi who annulled some 850 child marriages and sent the brides back to school. And how Pakistani traditional dances are challenging many in the conservative Muslim country where the art is often linked to prostitution. But we begin in Japan, where 3 years ago the government introduced a campaign encouraging women to return to work after having children. Yet despite this, 60% of Japanese women are still quitting their jobs after having their first child, with 1 in 5 saying that they experience some form of sexual harassment at work after they become pregnant or give birth. It also includes pressure to leave their jobs, as our team in Japan found out.
These days, Sayaka Osakabe spends a lot of her time reading testimony from victims of matahara.
2 weeks after I told my boss that I was pregnant, I received a notice terminating my contract because I'd shown a poor attitude towards work.
Osakabe says she receives an average of 10 similar accounts from other women every month on matahara.net, a website that offers advice to women who have suffered maternity harassment. Osakabe, a former magazine editor, created the site in 2014 after her own encounter with matahara.
I had 2 miscarriages. The first time I didn't even dare to tell my boss. And the second time I got pregnant, before I had that second miscarriage, I took a week off work. While I was resting, my manager came to see me and demanded that I resign.
Osakabe took her employer to court and after winning her case in 2014, decided to help other women. Now she organises monthly meetings for women who want to discuss their experiences of matahara.
I was refused maternity leave, so I'd like to use my experience to help others. I totally understand why women no longer want to stay silent.
Osakabe says the root of the problem lies in Japanese corporate culture, which often forces women to choose between having children or pursuing a career. In a country where a quarter of the population is aged 65 or over, getting more women into work is crucial to the future of the economy. Through his Womenomics programme, Prime Minister Abe says he's counting on women to boost growth. He wants more women to occupy management positions by the end of the decade. Currently, only 8% of private sector management positions in larger companies are held by women. Abe's programme is not going according to plan.
Since 2003, the government's Office for Gender Equality has been talking about increasing the number of women in management positions to 30% by 2020. But in fact, nothing has been done to achieve this goal. It seems unrealistic. In the ministry's Gender Equality Department, for instance, women occupy only 3.5% of management positions.
Osakabe, meanwhile, has taken her campaign to the airwaves.
Hello, this is Sayaka Osakabe, president of matahara.net.
Her campaign includes encouraging employees to resist the pressure to do overtime and to make it easier for parents to take time off work to raise their children together.
The problem is that people work until 10 or 11 at night, but childcare always ends much before that. If everyone was going home from work around 6, as should be the case, then everything would be fine.
To help working mothers, the government says it plans to create 400,000 extra kindergarten places over the next 2 years.
Now, the African nation of Malawi has one of the highest rates of child marriage in the world, but one female chief has taken a stand by annulling some 850 unions in the last 3 years. Despite death threats, she's now lobbying the government to increase the legal age for marriage to 21.
Singing and clapping their hands at school. A typical scene in classrooms across the world. But before these young girls were given a shot at what anyone would call an ordinary childhood, they were married. Some even had children.
I tried my best to see these girls to be a lot in classes. So as you can see, indeed, I'm a happy chief.
Teresa Kachindamoto is the chief of the Dedza village. For years, she's been fighting to stamp out child marriage and bring its young victims back to school. To do that, she's come up against the weight of tradition and the men trying to stop her.
They said, no, we have the rights with our girls, so there's no one who can change what we are doing. I said, well, enough is enough, but this time I want to change. I want these children to be educated.
She's already put an end to 850 child marriages, but the fight is far from over. In Malawi, half of women get married before they turn 18. Judith got married when she was only 14. She had to swap the classroom for the fields, where she would toil for the next 4 years, until Teresa Kachindamoto stepped in.
My priority now is to study. I can't go back because I know that that would mean getting married. I lost lots of precious time. But now I study full-time, and I'm preparing a future for myself and my child.
Last year, Malawi passed a law that prohibits children under the age of 18 from getting married. In her village, Teresa went a step further. She got all her subordinates to sign an agreement annulling child marriages that date from before the law.
There is need for our lawmakers, those who draft laws, to make sure that that chief is assisted.
Teresa isn't letting anything stand in her way. She already has her sights set on raising the legal age for marriage to 21.
Here in Europe, Romania has the highest rate of teenage pregnancies. Some 15% of children in the country are born to teenage mothers, with many being forced to drop out of school. As a result, campaigners are calling on the government to urgently introduce sex education in all schools.
A few months ago, Lorena's life was turned upside down. At 15, she became a mother. Ever since, she and her boyfriend have faced constant challenges when are raising their daughter Andrea in an abandoned building.
She's a baby, but I'm just a child too. I should have stayed at school. But it's fine, she's such a good girl. She's so important to me. God gave me a wonderful daughter. I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to her.
Her experience is not uncommon. In Romania, 15% of new mothers are teenagers, according to Eurostat figures, considerably higher than the European average of 5.4%. Experts say poverty, the migration of parents, and lack of awareness are to blame.
The majority of girls who become pregnant before they are 18 have never taken a course in health education. The problem is the lack of health education, including sex education, in schools and communities.
For now, it's impossible for Lorena to even consider a return to school. But she dreams of one day being able to get a job so that she can provide a better home for her daughter and the prospect of a better future.
In Pakistan, dance is frowned upon in the Muslim-majority country, with many still linking it to prostitution. It's not seen as a done thing for women to dance outside of a family setting, yet alone perform for money. But a group of traditional performers are determined to reclaim dance, all in the name of art.
Breaking social taboos one twirl at a time. Suhey has been dancing since she was 7, but making it her profession was a risky decision. Here in conservative Pakistan, women are not supposed to perform outside the family circle. The discipline is often associated with prostitution, with pimps putting on shows to cover up their girls' illegal activities.
We constantly have to explain this thing to people that, okay, dance is an art form, and it's not just about, what happens in the red light area, and it's not just about entertaining men, and it's not about your sexuality and, putting your body forward.
Dance is part of Pakistan's common heritage with its rival neighbor India, but since partition, things have evolved very differently here. In 1981, dance was banned by Islamist dictator Zia-ul-Haq, who called the art obscene. Even today, artists must still get permission to stage performances, although authorities are much more lenient. For this dance luminary, Zia's Islamization has left a deep mark on society, and the threat is now elsewhere.
Now you don't know in this audience who will be that man or woman sitting who thinks that, oh, this is un-Islamic, this is sin, and I will find my place in heaven by destroying this art form, by killing this woman, or by doing whatever, blowing up. Or.
The bad image of dancing in Pakistan goes hand in hand with a lack of institutional support and infrastructure. When the National Academy of Performing Arts opened here in Karachi, there was a dance department, but it shut down after not attracting enough students. In a country where even basic literacy is not achieved, dance training is far from a priority.
Till you introduce it as a proper part of an educational system, and people are getting groomed all the time through it, so some of them will filter out and will become the champions. But if you do not have it at the initial stages, when the children are 8, 9, 10, 11, I do not think we'll go anywhere.
Despite all the challenges, dance has survived in Pakistan. And whether it means taking the risk of performing live or passing on the knowledge to future generations, these dancers are doing all that's in their power so the show can go on.
And that's it for now. And if you'd like to comment on what you've just seen, you can head to our Facebook page. That's France24 51%, or do send us a tweet at _51%. Thanks for your feedback so far, and please do keep those comments coming in. So until our next program, bye for now.